Hello everybody, it's everyone's favourite feisty feline Xephas Gracepaws here, and today I'm going to address the question that I've asked myself numerous times, which is, why do furries get so much hate? Now, if you've watched my first video, how I became a furry, you'll have heard about my first encounter with someone who was a member of the furry fandom and how poorly they were treated by myself, admittedly, and my friends at the time. The reason for that was, from what I can tell, mostly just childish ignorance, but to an extent it all comes back to the misinformation that surrounds the fandom, especially the misinformation that circulates around the internet. In recent years, the furry fandom has blown up in popularity. Even since I joined the fandom back in 2013-14, I've seen tons of newcomers, new people joining and people leaving all the time. Now, usually when something has a huge spike in popularity like that, it gains the attention of the media, and the media aren't always the best when it comes to reporting. And because of this, there's been so many different reports that are ranging from wildly inaccurate to downright insulting regarding the fandom and what it actually is. Because of the misrepresentation in the media, be it in written journals or televised documentaries, the furry fandom is often portrayed as being entirely sexual attraction. Of course, there are people within the fandom that are attracted to the more not safe for work side, but as a whole, that's not everybody. Unfortunately, because of that side of the fandom, or at least because that side of the fandom is seen as strange by the media, it's the side they tend to focus on and report on. And not to mention that one CSI episode which shows furries as a bunch of sexual delinquents. Yeah, that's real. You might want to look that up, or don't. It's up to you, but that exists. There's many online forums and communities that would not take well to you telling people that you're a furry. For example, an old Minecraft community I used to be a member of way before I joined the fandom was pretty notorious for banning anyone who even seemed like a furry in the slightest. Like, one time, for example, a guy who was a paying donator, like he'd actually paid money to play on the server, and he played it pretty often, came online and started talking about furries, and in his words said, "I'm not one, but I don't hate them." And he was pretty much immediately banned by the administrator for being a supporter of furries, because furries are seen as something that's horrible and abhorrent, and something that if you support, then you are also wrong and you should be banned. So that's just great. And yeah, I think it just stems from all of the misrepresentation in the media and the sort of dogpile mentality of the internet. When something's seen as being bad, anybody who supports that kind of thing is immediately seen as also bad and should be harassed by the general internet populace, which of course they shouldn't. Don't harass people on the internet, it's not nice. Another point that I've heard is that people find fursuiting creepy because it could be anybody behind the mask. Now, it's not particularly creepy, at least I don't find it creepy, but I can understand that obscuring your face is certainly outside of the public norm, in a similar way that if you were walking down the street and you saw somebody wearing like a full face balaclava, you'd probably be a little bit sort of nervous, because it's implanted in our brain, at least, to be wary of anybody who doesn't show their face, because they could be hiding something. However, I definitely don't think it's a reason to hate, because if you ask the people that find it weird in that respect, if they found like sports team mascots weird, they'd probably say no. So I don't think that that is a particularly valid point. And it's certainly no reason to hate. Anyway, those are just my opinions on why I think that people hate on the furry fandom. Obviously there are many more reasons that I've not touched upon, and I think maybe in the future I'll do a follow-up video to this, detailing some more reasons that I can think of, but those are the ones that sort of spring to mind immediately at the moment off the top of my head. So yeah, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.